Hey, what's up? Welcome to year four of the Buccaneers 20-year rebuild. We're coming off a disappointing 9-8 season, which we did not make the playoffs. We finished a game behind the 49ers for the last game of the playoffs. We did switch playbooks mid-season because we were turning the ball over way too much. We switched from Tampa Bay's playbook to New England, which is generally the playbook that I use in Sim. I've had quite a bit of success with it. Still using Seattle's defense, base 4-3, multiple zone run. We're going to take a quick look at our roster before we get into the re-sign players. We've got Aaron Rodgers. And you know what? As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and re-sign players, and then we'll take a look at our roster. So we're going to advance past staff moves. We don't care about that. I let the computer handle my staff. So now we got re-signed players. Chuba Hubbard, we're going to let walk. Barker, Ward, Washington. We're going to let everybody here walk. There's nobody worth re-signing. So let's advance past the re-sign phase. And then we'll take a look at our roster before hitting free agency. Okay, so here's where we're at. We've got Aaron Rodgers in the second year of a 2-year deal, so it might be time to start looking for a younger quarterback. We do not have a first-round pick. We traded it to move up last year to get a safety, so I don't think this year is going to be the year that we trade up to get a quarterback. That might be next year. We might just go into the draft with no quarterback and put ourselves in a position where we have to draft one. But it's going to be Aaron Rodgers for one more year. We've got Fournette and James Cook. James Cook regressed in dev trait from superstar to star. Leonard Fournette regressed from star to normal. So our running back room is not doing so hot right now. Ben Mason is still fullback. Jamar Chase is our lead wide receiver. Oh my God, excuse me. We acquired him from Mike Evans, who was in the final year of his deal. We've got Chris Godwin, Traylon Burks, still a star dev. Jonathan Franklin, normal dev, wide receiver. Tight end, Rob Gronkowski is gone. We've got Johnny Young as our starter. He's still normal dev, going into his second year. Foster Moreau is a backup. Ike Ekwonu is our left tackle. Ali Marpet, Ryan Jensen, Alex Kappa, and Tristan Wirfs make up a pretty solid offensive line. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka on the outside is up to superstar dev. Shaq Barrett on the other side is down to a star, and we might actually trade Shaq Barrett and save quite a bit of money. Let's see what we can get for him. The Bills have some interest. Ooh, okay, here we go. The Chargers. How big is their interest? We will trade away some picks. Oops, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to do that. I will happily trade my second round pick if I can move up into the first round. First and a fourth. Second and a third. Close. We're close. Let's see if any other team has green interest. And it looks like it's going to be just the Chargers. So we might have to settle for a second round pick. Ooh, the Vikings. The Vikings pick even higher, though. It's going to be even tough, even more difficult. Let's try a second round pick from the Vikings, see how close we get. That got it done. All right, so we got a second round pick from the Vikings. We're going to need a defensive end. We need a defensive tackle. We've got Vea. Paul Carr is our starting outside linebacker. He's still a star dev. Devin White, middle linebacker. Chris Barnes, outside linebacker. He's down to a normal dev. Claxton, still at a star dev. Antoine Winfield, up to a superstar dev. Keontae Barkley, up to a star dev. So our team is looking pretty solid. I'm happy with this. We only have a couple spots that we really need to fill. Tom Brady's back out there in free agency. He just will not retire. Jalen Hurts is going to get a big deal. Running back, we could use a third running back. We lost Chuba Hubbard. Let's see. We might bring in Benny Snell again. We signed him last year and then released him. Let's try that again. It's not the worst idea to have Benny Snell as a third running back. We need some wide receiver depth. Quez Watkins would be fine. We'll give him a low ball offer. I actually want to look at my wide receiver room real quick. Burks, Franklin. So yeah, I do need a wide receiver probably to play between Burks and Franklin. That would be where Quez Watkins would wind up. So I'm not going to go in on one of the higher wide receivers. But Quez Watkins would be a good fit for us. Tight end. I'm tempted to just let Johnny Young play and hopefully he develops. There's Albert O. Or I could go Tyler Higbee for a year. Let's try that. Let's go 2 years on Tyler Higbee on a low ball offer and see if we can steal him away. No signing bonus. And just as a backup plan, we're going to try to do the same with Albert O. We're good at tackle. We're good at guard. Center is going to be a position that we're going to have to look at as Jensen's getting older. I wish someone like Cushenberry was available next year. It's too early to sign him now because Jensen's still going to play. He'd wind up losing his depth trait. We're good at right guard, and we're good at right tackle. We do need a defensive end, and we do need a defensive tackle. There aren't any defensive ends out there. There are some defensive tackles. I like Javon Kinlaw, but I could probably get one of these guys for cheaper. Same with Hicks. I'm going to try to sign all these guys to a 1-year deal. Hicks, Hargrave, and Fox. Left outside linebacker, we probably use a backup. Malik Jefferson's hitting free agency, but he doesn't have any offers, so let's go ahead and see if we can bring him back for cheap. Middle linebacker, we're good. We might be able to use a depth piece. See if there's a young player down here. Grant Stewart is a player that we lost to free agency. We might be able to bring him back. We're good at right outside linebacker. Corner, oh, I'd love to have Stephon Gilmore. Let's come back to that. We'll circle back. We need a backup safety. We need 2 backup safeties. Let's try Alohi Gilman out of Notre Dame. And let's try to get a high-end backup here. I don't know if we'll be able to get Terrell Burgess, but it's worth a shot. And then we got about 6 million left to put towards corner. Stephon Gilmore. So we're going to take away his signing bonus, and we're going to put all that towards salary. So it's going to be a non-guaranteed contract. All right, there we go. That's week 1 of free agency for us. Let's see if we can steal some of these guys. We should get at least a couple of them. Oh yeah, we got Hargrave, Fox, Snell, Hicks, Gilmore, Quez Watkins, Burgess, Stewart, and Albert O. So it was a big week 1 of free agency for us. Let's see what our remaining offers look like. We're going to lose out on Tyler Higbee, which is okay. We still got offers to Malik Jefferson and Alohi Gilman. So we'll go ahead and advance to the next week. There's nothing else that we need to do. We got Gilman, and we got a 5th-year option. Jamar Chase. We're absolutely picking up Jamar Chase's fifth-year option. No question about it. We got another 5th-year option for Tryon Shoyinka. We're definitely picking that up too. And let's look at free agency once more and see what Malik Jefferson's doing. He got a better offer. All right, so we need to go to left outside linebacker and sign somebody different. Let's see. We need a run stopper. That would have been perfect. Fadukasi, he's only an 80 speed. I would have put in an offer for him if he was a little bit faster. Let's check middle linebacker. We might be able to move somebody to outside linebacker. I'd prefer somebody young. Jeremiah Jamel. That's not bad. We might come back to that. Raekwon McMillan, we know pretty well. He was on one of our first teams. He's an option. Tanner Muse from Chaz Surratt. Surratt's an 86 speed. Muse is a 90. Man, I kind of like them both. Let's offer both a 3-year deal and see if either or both take it. Their primary role is going to be special teams anyway, so it's not that important. But we do need another outside linebacker. All right, let's advance to the final week of free agency. And we got both Muse and Surratt. So let's take a look at our roster heading into the draft. I don't think we have any major holes. We could still use a running back. Not necessarily a starter, though. We just need a depth piece. We're good at wide receiver. Tight end is a little bit soft. I'm okay going into the season with Johnny Young. We're very good on the offensive line. A couple of our guys are starting to age a bit. Marpet is coming to the end of his career, and so is Jensen. Kappa's still probably got a couple years left. Tryon Shawenka, we're going to move to right end, where we better use his pass rush skills. And we're going to have Akeem Hicks start at left end. We could definitely use a defensive end, at least a depth piece. Defensive tackle, we got Hargrave and Cox. We could use one more for depth. Outside linebacker. Man, I really like what we have. I might move Burr Kiven inside. In fact, I am going to do that. I'm going to move Burr Curvin, I'm sorry. Inside, he's going to be our third middle linebacker. We don't need Grant Stewart. And we're going to move Chaz Surratt to left outside linebacker. All right, at corner, we're really solid. We've got 4 starting caliber corners and John Reed for depth. So we don't really need a corner. We got Burgess, so we've got Winfield and Burgess, Barkley and Gilman. Solid at kicker, solid at punter. I mean, this is a really good team. All right, let's go ahead and advance to draft week. Remember, we're without a first-round pick. We got 2 seconds, though, and a shitload of late picks that I might want to try to consolidate before the draft. I don't really know what the draft value is for a lot of these picks. Like, I do not need 4 sevens. What can 3 sevens get me? You give me a 4? How about a 5? Nope. 144. How about a 5 from the Bengals? That got it done. Okay, let's go ahead. Trade our set. Oh, I gotta exit out of this. Go back into it. Screen freezes up occasionally after you make a trade, and you got to go back and start all over again. It's sort of a pain in the ass. Hopefully, they fix that for Madden 23. Let's trade a 7 and 2 of our 6s. And I'd like a late third rounder. How do they feel about that? Nope. How about a mid 4 from the Bears? That got it done. Alright, let's trade our 6 and 2 5s. And I'd like to be able to move up to the second round. I don't think it's going to happen. No, not even close. How about a late third? Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and head to the draft. I've got a sheet that I've already made up of players that I like. So as the draft is going, I'm going to be crossing people um, off my sheet. So that's why I'm going to be going kind of slow. Just bear with me here.
And the Eagles on the clock now.
We're going to
Let's see what
pause
direction they
draft.
go.
Advance the
next
next
up, the
pick. They take
Titans are on the
Peters, the
clock.
left tackle. I had him rated really high.
The Lions on the
They
clock
take
now.
Kirkpatrick, the cornerback. I had him rated very high.
All right, next up, the
They take
Jets are on
Smart,
the
the
clock.
right end. I had him rated very high. So far these teams seem to be hitting on picks
And now on
as
the
far as
clock,
my
it's
scouting
the
report goes.
Vikings.
First quarterback goes to the Jets, Stephen Hunt. That might be it for Zach Wilson then. That's an interesting pick.
All right, now
The
it's the
Vikings
Cardinals' turn.
take
They're up.
Weeks, left outside linebacker.
All right, now on the
The
clock, the
Cardinals
Rams.
take right guard Mack. I had him rated pretty highly.
On the clock now, it's the
Uh,
Broncos, and time is
the
ticking.
first running back off the board, Corey Wallace. I had him rated extremely high. So I think that's a good pick.
Okay, it's the Falcons now on
Wide
the
receiver
clock.
Langford goes to the Broncos.
All right, next up, the Patriots are on the clock.
Left outside linebacker Charles goes to Atlanta from Georgia, staying home.
All right, now on the clock, the Chargers.
The Patriots take a right end, Davidson. I think there was a better right end on the board. They might have
Okay, the
reached there.
Steelers on the clock now.
Wide receiver from Wisconsin going to the
The
Chargers.
Texans are now on the clock.
A right guard going to the Steelers.
Okay, the Giants up now. They're on the clock.
There's the other right end that I liked. He's going to Houston.
The Colts now on the clock. Let's see what they do.
That's a good pick.
Okay, the Bears are on the clock now.
Another right end. It's a run on right ends.
All right, now it's the Raiders' turn. They're
Bears
up.
take Beaver. Brad Beaver, what a name.
The Cowboys on the clock now. What
And there's our
direction will they
second
go?
quarterback off the board. The Raiders take Alex Fitzsimmons.
The 49ers on the clock
Cowboys
now.
take
What
middle
direction will they
linebacker
go?
Garrett.
Now the Dolphins are on the
The
clock. Who do they
Niners
have
take
their eye on?
Manny Brown, cornerback from TCU.
The Bills are now on the clock.
That's Mitchell was a. I had him graded in the second round. That's the first second round player to come off of the board, as far as I'm concerned.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Scott, I had him rated very highly. Goes to the Bills. I think that was a good pick.
On the clock now, it's the Packers, and time is ticking.
Wakefield, I had a first round grade on.
And now we turn to the WFT. It's their selection.
Kemp, I had a first round grade on.
The Saints are on the clock now. What direction will they go?
Davis, I had a first round grade on. That looks like a
And the
good pick.
Panthers on the clock now. Let's see what direction they
McClellan
go.
had a first round grade.
The Bengals now on the clock. Let's see what they do.
Warner, first round grade.
Okay, the Chiefs are on the clock now.
Tatum, I had mid first round, so I think that's going to be a good pick for them.
It's the Cowboys now on the clock.
Cohen, I had a high second round grade on.
And the Browns on the clock now. Let's
Cowboys,
see what direction they go in.
I had James as a second rounder.
Now the Seahawks are on the clock. Who do they have their eye on?
Williamson, I had a first round grade on. That looks like a good pick.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
Crockett, I had a mid first round on. That looks like a good pick.
All right, it's the Eagles now on the clock.
Dodson had a first round grade. So these teams are staying pretty close to my board.
On the clock now, it's the Titans.
Larry Jennings, that went off my board. The Eagles took a quarterback, and I think that was a miss.
It's the Lions now on the clock.
Ogletree, I had a high 2-1.
Okay, here we go. The Jets now on the clock.
Myers, I had a first round pick on.
All right, next up, the Bucks are on the
Friedman, I
clock.
had as a second round pick, and now I'm on the clock. My first second round pick. I'm tempted to take a defensive end. Defensive end or outside linebacker. Or center. Um, Brett Newman is available. There was a right end that I really liked. Johnson. A tackling. He had a good combine except for the broad jump. He didn't jump well. But he had a good 20-yard shuttle. Really strong. Ran well. Good tackle. Good pursuit, play recognition, awareness. And that's a pretty strong looking player. And at center, I had Stallings and Portillo that I both really liked. You see, Stallings crushed the combine. He was really probably the best center as far as combine goes. A, pass block power. B, run block finesse. B, lead block. A, pass block finesse. And that looks like a good player. And you look at Portillo, he had a good combine. He didn't jump well, but he did everything else really well. A, awareness. B, lead block. A, pass block. A, pass block power. Now, the fact that these guys are projected round 2 to 3 and the defensive end is projected round 1 to 2 leads me to believe I should probably go defensive end with this pick. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go Bruce
And now on the
Johnson.
clock, it's the Cardinals.
Normal dev. Ouch. That hurts. He looks like he does everything well, though. That's the thing. 87 strength, 82 speed, 77 change of direction. Like, he looks like a good athlete. Just didn't have the dev trait. That kind of sucks.
And the
All
Rams
right.
now on the clock. Who do they have their eye on?
Northcutt. We pick 18th in this
All right, the
round.
Broncos are now on the clock.
Thurston was off my board.
On the clock now, it's the Falcons.
Woodley is off my board.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
Wynn looks like a good pick. I had a first round grade on him.
And the Chargers now on the clock. Who do they have their
Newman,
eye on?
I had a second round grade on.
Now we turn to the Steelers. They're on the clock.
Bowman, I had a high 2 on. I think that's a really good pick. We just didn't need an outside linebacker. We've got 3 starters.
And the Texans now on the clock.
There
Who
goes
do they have their eye
Stallings.
on?
There goes the first center that we wanted. So now I got a decision to make. Do I wait and hope that Portillo makes it to us? I don't think I have much other choice.
All right, now on the clock, the Giants.
There goes Wilford.
All right, next up, the Colts are on the
Lucas
clock.
Jones goes.
All right, the Bears are now on the clock.
Hyde. I had a second round grade on.
Okay, here we go. The Raiders now on the clock.
There goes Biggers. I just need to make it through this
Okay, it's the
pick.
Bucks now
They
on the
take
clock.
Martin. All right, so I get my center. I wanted Stallings, but I had Portillo as the backup option, and I'm going to go with Portillo.
And now on the clock, it's the
Hidden Dev
49ers.
center. So that's going to be our successor to Ryan Jensen. That's going to be a really good pick to have a dev trait offensive lineman. I'm very happy with that pick. Very happy with that pick. We don't pick again until round 3, pick 18. I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead to next
The
user pick.
Buccaneers are on the clock now.
Let's see what we got left. There's a halfback. Dobson, it looks like he's gone. Wide receiver Knox. Looks like he's gone. Tight end Meadows. He's still there. Bernie Meadows. He had a really good combine. He had an 8 short route running, B pass block, A break tackle. I'm pretty good at tight end depth right now. I don't need a tight end. But he might be the best player available. There's a D tackle Minor who's probably gone off the board. Yep. Middle linebacker Holcomb. He's gone. Right outside linebacker Leonard is gone. Strong safety Killings. Killings is still there. Killings had a good combine. He did everything but run exceptionally well. He's not big enough to move to linebacker. But he's strong, he's agile, he jumps well. Just doesn't have the elite speed. A, block shedding. B, hit power. F for injury. That's not good. A, stamina. And C, zone coverage. I don't think he's the pick here. I think the pick here has to be the tight end. And then we'll figure out what to do with him. Bernie Meadows.
All right, it's now the
The pick
49ers'
is the
turn. They're up.
hidden dev tight end. 82 speed, 79 strength. That's a big pick for us. In round 3, we'll take that. We got another pick up in round 3.
The Bucks on the clock now. Let's see who they have their eye on.
And we're going to take that strong safety now. Nicholas Killings.
On the clock now, the
A
Chiefs.
hidden dev safety. We are killing this draft. Outside of our first pick, which was a normal dev player, we've hit on every pick in the middle rounds. We pick again in round 4.
On the clock now, it's the Buccaneers.
This is where it gets hard because I've taken all the players that I really liked. Let's see, there's a defensive tackle I like, a halfback that I liked. Denzel Brown from Columbia. The receiving back. Did everything well at the combine except strength. It's very shifty, very fast. Good route runner, good catcher. Let's go with Denzel Brown.
The Raiders now on the clock.
That's a good depth running back for us. That's all that is. I don't think he's ever going to be a starter. He's just a depth piece.
All right, next up, the Bucks are
Let's
on the
make our
clock.
next selection. Our last pick in this draft. Let's see, there's a defensive tackle, McCoy. We do need a defensive tackle for depth. Devin McCoy. Really, really strong and agile. Ran a good 3-cone, ran a pretty good 20 yard shuttle. He was better at the combine than he was his pro day. Didn't run particularly well, but strength is his thing.
Okay,
We're
here
going to
we go.
draft
The
him.
49ers now on the clock.
That's going to be our fourth defensive tackle to make the roster. That's our last pick of the draft. We consolidated picks well. We put them to good use. And let's go ahead and advance to the end of the draft. Take a look and see how we did. I think we really nailed this draft. Outside of that first pick, which was a little bit disappointing. Yeah, Bruce Johnson, 75 overall, normal dev. He's probably better suited to shift to defensive tackle. He's got better power moves than finesse moves. I mean, he's not a bad. He's probably going to move to left end for us and be a backup left end. Kevin Portillo. God, he could start. He could honestly start for us. I don't know where to play him unless I move him to right guard for season one and get rid of Kappa. But I'd like to get him playing immediately. Bernie Meadows. I think the same thing with him. I think I'm going to play him immediately. Nicholas Killings. We nailed that pick. 89 speed is actually better than I thought it was going to be for him. We don't really have a place to play him, though. That's the problem. Denzel Brown was a 72 overall, normal dev. That's a good depth player. McCoy was a 72 overall, normal dev. That's a good depth player. So we got players that are going to contribute down here. Like he's going to be a contributor. These guys are probably looking at being starters, and these guys are contributors as well. So we didn't miss on any picks. We just hit big on 3 of them. So let's go ahead and advance to the preseason. If you could tell what my draft strategy is, I really like good athletes. I like guys that crush the combine. If they've got some good skills to go along with it, even better. But I love the athletes. I'll gamble on an athlete. Devin White gets better. He's up to a 93 overall. All right, it's time for us to fill out our roster, see what we need. First, let's see what's out in free agency. If anybody slipped through that we got to pick up. Doesn't look like it. Nobody there that really screams, you have to sign me. Kendrick Bourne. I mean, that's actually a pretty reasonable free agent class. There's a lot of kickers and punters available. Some teams go into the season with really bad kickers and punters. I don't really understand why they do it. When there's good kickers and punters just out there in free agency, but, you know, that's their prerogative, I suppose. So it's going to be Rodgers. There's our halfback room. I'm very happy with that. We've got 2 bruising halfbacks and 2 receiving backs. Ben Mason. We got Burks is going to be our third receiver. Watkins behind him. Franklin. And we got Simi Fehoko, who's going to fight it out for the last spot with Jalen Darden. I think I like Darden a little bit better because I know he can return kicks a little bit. At tight end, we got to trade one of these tight ends. Meadows is going to play. Young's going to be his backup. So let's probably trade Foster Moreau. If he has any trade value at all. He does to the Chargers, but they're over the cap. He does to the Seahawks, but they're also over the cap. Maybe I can get a player back. I don't know what I would want. I can't take on Tyler Lockett's contract. I'd love to have DK Metcalf. That would put me over the cap. What do they got at defensive end? Rodney Wheeler. I like Rodney Wheeler. Larry Brewer, superstar X Factor. Middle linebacker. Yeah, let's bring him in. We'll trade Chris Barnes and Foster Moreau for Brewer and a third round pick. Oh, that would put them over the cap. Shit. Alright, they got to have somebody who's making a lot of money who's not very good. I'm looking for somebody who makes $3 million or more. Okay, what we can do is trade Barnes in a separate deal. How close were we? Alright, let's throw in some picks. I'll throw in a 4. 4 and a 7. Alright, we got Brewer. We're going to shift Brewer to right outside linebacker. And we're going to trade Chris Barnes. The Chiefs. I'd rather have a first round pick from the Chiefs than a second rounder, so let's see if I throw in 5, how close does that get us? Reasonably close, but I think it's going to take a 3. And give me a 6th back. Nope. How about a 7th back? Deal. All right, so for Chris Barnes in the third, I get a first and a seventh. You get Larry Brewer, superstar X Factor, to play right outside linebacker. We're back to tight end. That's what we're looking at. So it's going to be Bernie Meadows, who's going to be the starter. Johnny Young and Albert O behind him. Um, Here's where things get interesting. I might have to look at contracts and see whose deal is up first. 'Cause I want Portillo playing, which means he's going to have to shift to guard for at least for year one, which means Marpet or Kappa is going to go. Marpet's got 2 years left, and so does Kappa, of course. Well, Marpet's the better player. Kappa's cheaper. There's a greater penalty trading Marpet. So I think I'm going to move Kappa. The Bengals can afford him. Here we go, the Denver Broncos. For pick 8. For pick 40. There we go, that worked. Hopefully the Broncos are bad. And we're going to move Portillo to right guard. Now at season's end, we can either move him back to center or pick up another center. Number 69, nice. So this is Jensen's last year with the team. Let's go back to roster. It's easier to look at things in roster than it is under team salaries. So we're good at offensive line now. Portillo's going to start at right guard. Akeem Hicks at left guard. Our rookie Bruce Johnson's going to go to left end. Hope to develop him behind Hicks a little bit. We can still use another defensive tackle. Or defensive end. I like to carry 5. So let's take a look at what's out there, left end and right end. Not much. Alton Robinson. That works for me. Bring him in on a 1-year deal. And we can go back and look at our left end situation. It's going to be these two making the team. Shawenka, Tryon Shawenka, McKinley, and Robinson making the team. Kelly and Rogers are going to be practice squad guys. Vita Vea is already hurt. Dislocated shoulder. It's a good thing I got 2 backups that are quality. And a rookie, Devin McCoy. Outside linebacker, we're good. Middle linebacker, we're good. Right outside linebacker, we're good. I'm really happy about getting Larry Brewer. Hopefully he holds on to that X factor. Corner, we might be able to bring somebody in better than John Reed. We've got the money to do so. There's no reason to hold on to it. It doesn't carry over to the next season. Winfield and Burgess. Barkley and Killings. Killings is smaller, but he's stronger. Not as good in coverage. Better tackler, better block shedding. Like, this guy looks like a linebacker if it wasn't for the size. His injury rating is low, though, so that might preclude him from being a starter, to be honest. I might just let him back up this year. We'll cut Gilman. We've got 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, a 5, 6, and a 7. I'll probably package the 5, 6, and a 7 and try to move up to like the 3rd round. But we're in good shape. We've got plenty of picks to trade up to go get a quarterback if we need to. Right now, I want to look at the cornerback class, free agent class. Bryce Callahan looks like the best by far. There's no really young players out there, so let's bring in Bryce Callahan. And let's set our depth chart for the preseason. We're going to go with Burks ahead of Watkins. Meadows ahead of Young and Albert O. Portillo's in there starting. I want to make sure Johnson plays a little bit. McCoy's going to play a little bit. Brewer, cornerback we got. I want Claxton playing ahead of Gilmore, even though Gilmore's a better player. I want to continue to develop Claxton. Barkley and Killings. Kick returner, Cook. Punt returner, Cook. 3rd down back. I'd rather it be Cook and then Denzel Brown. Brown is a really good 3rd down back, though. I'm happy to have him on the roster. Then we got Fournette and Snell as the power backs. In the slot, I want Godwin, then Burks, then Watkins. Where is Akeem Hicks? Akeem Hicks is slotted in and rush defensive tackle right now. 69. Oops. I did not mean to back out of that. Let me go back to rush defensive end. Hicks is only 69 there. And I might have Brewer. Do some pass rushing. We're going to have Brewer as the rush right end. Although he is our 2nd best sub linebacker too. Alright, so let's take him out of that role. He's going to be the 2nd sub linebacker. Carr's going to be third. Slot corner. I want Claxton, then Gilmore. Then Callahan. All right, we are good to go. This is a really solid team. 87 overall. We should be able to put together some wins. Let's go ahead and advance to week 1 of the preseason. And we lost in week 1 of the preseason. That's fine. JT Thompson up to 65 overall. He's not going to make the team, but he might catch on somewhere. Mandy Alonso up to 56. He's probably going to get cut, head to the XFL. Antoine Winfield up to a 91 overall as we work on his hybrid skills. And advance through week 2 of the preseason. And see who the camp standout is. Paul Carr, our left outside linebacker, our second-year left outside linebacker. And these guys are irrelevant, but we do want to upgrade Larry Brewer. It's up to a 78 now. Auto upgrade the rest. And let's advance to week 4 of the preseason, make our cuts, see if there's anybody out on the waiver wire that we want to bring in. Tristan Wirfs is up to a 98. Alright, let's scan the waiver wire. Darius Slay got cut. Charvarius Ward got cut. Darrell Henderson. Andrews Pete got cut. That's a surprising one. Ramondre Stevenson. Wow. I might sign Andrews Pete just to be a backup offensive lineman. Just to give us some added depth. I'd like to know what the left guard situation was on the team that cut him. Now all I got to do is make sure he doesn't start above Portillo. And lastly, I might sign Darius Slay. That gets us in just under the cap, at least before cuts. Got to cut some wide receivers. I'm going to have Jalen Darden make the team. So Simi Fehoko is going to get released. Brandon Rutker is going to be on the practice squad. Offensive line looks good. Big Cat Bryant going to be released. Caleb Kelly going to be released. Joe Rogers to the practice squad. Mandy Alonso is going to get released. Josh Ross is going to get released. KJ Britt is going to get released. Bryce Callahan's going to get released. John Reed going to get released. Leonard Johnson released. JT Thompson released. And Monteric Brown released. And that should get us down to our roster limit of 53. Let's advance to week 1 of the preseason, reset our depth chart, and we'll be ready to go. Camp standout, Paul Carr. 2 combined sacks or tackles for loss with Carr against the Bengals to continue his breakout. It's probably just a XP bonus. That's what it's been in the past. It'd be nice if it was a dev trait scenario, but I don't think it is. Paul Carr is up to a 77. Kyle Trask is up to a 70. Isaiah Wilson up to a 68. Jamar Chase up to a 94. And let's get this depth chart set. Burks ahead of Watkins. I was a little disappointed to see Meadows didn't go up at all during the preseason. Yep, that's what I was worried about. They had Pete starting ahead of Portillo. I want Portillo starting. Bruce Johnson is behind Hicks. Vita Vea's back out there. Paul Carr, Devin White, Larry Brewer, Claxton, then Gilmore, then Slay. It's an elite cornerback room. It doesn't get any better than that. The third down back is going to be Cook, just ahead of Brown, the rookie. Power back, Fournette and Snell. Slot wide receiver is going to be Godwin, then Burks. Shawenka is going to be the rush left end. Rush right end is Tack McKinley. Alton Robinson behind him. Let's see. Vea, Fox, and Hargrave are the defensive tackles. Sub linebacker, Brewer is going to be the number 2. Carr 3. Slot corner, Claxton. Then Gilmore, then Slay. And we are ready for the regular season. Week 1 against Baltimore. Baltimore's a good team, but we're better. We should be able to pick up this win. And we lose 21-14. Of course. Camp standout. Paul Carr did not get his scenario, so no boost for him. Home against the Las Vegas Raiders. Let's see who the injury is. Tristan Wirf's out for 2 weeks. It's all right. Isaiah Wilson will fill in. We're quite a bit better than the Raiders. We should be able to win this home game. And we won 31-20. That's a big win. We did not want to drop to 0-2 like we did last year. Bernie Meadows is up to a 75, our starting tight end. Dev trait's still hidden. Players ready to negotiate. Tristan Wirfs, we're going to lock him up. Salary needs improvement. That's fine. We'll improve that for him. We're not going to re-sign Rodgers. Maybe we'll re-sign Jensen. That's a wait and see. Everybody else is probably going to walk. How much money do we have? Not a lot. It's going to be a very similar team coming back next year. The biggest change is probably going to be quarterback. All right. We take on the 82 overall Falcons at the Falcons. This is a tough game, a big divisional game. And we won 38-31. And somebody's calling it quits. It is Ali Marpet, it looks like. And Ali Marpet did retire in real life, so that's actually a realistic scenario. Hopefully we can hold on to him. We can win enough games that he doesn't want to retire. Ike Ekwonu is up to an 85. Fletcher Cox gets a boost to an 84. Traylon Burks up to an 80. Nicholas Killings up to a 78. Johnny Young up to a 77. Alton Robinson goes up to a 74. And Carlton Davis, we're going to work on his zone coverage so he stays at an 89. But he gets a +3 zone coverage. That balances him out a little bit better. And we take on the 0-3 Washington Commanders on the road. And we win 24-14 to go to 3-1. And that brings us to a big divisional game against the 3-1 Carolina Panthers, who've been a thorn in our side throughout this franchise. Larry Brewer stays at a 78 as we work on his pass coverage a little bit. And here we go for first place in the NFC South Division. Bucs hosting the Panthers, and we win 28-14 to go to 4-1. Locker room crisis and confidence. I'll promise him a big game. Is he really struggling out of the slot? I don't see how that's possible. He hasn't had as big a games as Burke, so maybe I should take him out of the slot. And just let Burks work in the slot. Bernie Meadows has been good. So is Johnny Young. They've kind of split time. All right. So at least that crisis in confidence got me to look at the stats and make a decision on Godwin. We're going to move him out of the slot. It's going to be Traylon Burks, Quez Watkins, and Jonathan Franklin. Let's see who we have to upgrade. Tack McKinley to a 74. Chaz Surratt up to a 71. And Joe Tryon Showenka up to an 86. And we host the 1-4 New Orleans Saints, who are underperforming at an 86 overall. This is a good team. And we beat them 31-28. Heading into our bye, we're 5-1. Let's see how we did with Chris Godwin. We didn't get him 100 yards. Disappointed and I'll just understand the team comes first. At least he's cool about it. That way I don't have to trade him. James Cook is up to an 81. And let's advance through the bye. Week 8. One thing I do want to look at is see if there's any young quarterbacks that are out there. There's Desmond Ridder. Huh. There's got to be one of these teams that has an abundance of quarterbacks. Alex Fitzsimmons. It's going to take a lot to pry him away. They've got Watson and Tim Tolbert. Okay, that's not a flat no. Barry Darnold. There's more quarterback needy teams than I thought there were. Tua Strong, Mayfield's the starter. A.J. Young for the Falcons. Drew Lock is starting. Trey Lance for the 49ers. The Giants have two quarterbacks. Neither one is good. Trevor Lawrence is really good. Zach Wilson, and they drafted Stephen Hunt, who's a normal dev. Hurts, Goff, and Love. I don't like any of those guys. Minshew starting for the Packers. Malik Willis is starting for the Panthers. Yeah, there's really no quarterbacks that I could trade for and take advantage of. It's going to have to be either free agency or the draft. So let's continue to advance. Bernie Meadows is up to a 77 overall. Kenny Young, backup middle linebacker, up to a 75. Jonathan Franklin, depth wide receivers, up to a 74. We work on him in the slot. Devin White's up to a 94. Superstar X Factor. I don't know if he had X Factor before. He is now. Let's go back to players ready to negotiate. We got to up our offer to Tristan Wirfs. He likes the bonus and the duration, just not the salary. Let's bump the salary a little bit, and he'll be back. He's locked up for 5 years. We got $50 million. We can certainly afford to bring Jensen back. Let's do it. Let's bring Jensen back for 1 year. Rodgers, I'm not going to sign for that. And I'm not bringing back anybody else on this list. So we played the 3-3 Carolina Panthers. We're on the road at Carolina. We finally beat Carolina earlier in the year. And we beat them again, 28-24. Let's check in on Ali Marpet. And he says he's been feeling a lot better recently, feeling more like himself. So he's not going to retire. We've got somebody to upgrade, Jamel Dean. We're going to work on his zone coverage. He gets a +2 bonus in zone coverage to even him out a little bit. Keontae Barkley, work on his run support. He's up to an 83. Matt Ariza, up to an 80 overall punter. Terrell Burgess, up to an 80 overall at free safety. Larry Brewer, our X Factor outside linebacker, up to a 79. Paul Carr, our star left outside linebacker, up to a 78. And Aaron Rodgers, an 89 overall. Still holding on to that X Factor. We've got an injury to take a look at. James Cook's out for 3 weeks with a pulled groin, so our rookie's going to play third down back during that time. We take on the 3-5 Chargers on the road. And we beat them 24-17 to go to 7-1. We got Prince Tega Winogo going up to a 72 at left tackle. Derek Claxton up to an 83 overall. And we take on the 3-6 Falcons in a home game. We've got a 3-game lead in the division. Let's go. Let's go to 8-1. We can put this division away early. 34-17, we beat them. We got a tough game against the Cowboys this week. Robert Hainsey, our backup center, is up to a 69. Nice. Nicholas Killings, our rookie strong safety, is up to a 78. And we take on the 5-4 Dallas Cowboys, who are an 86 overall. They're almost as good as we are as far as overall rating goes. And we beat them 34-31. We're 9-1, and we have a lot on our home screen. We got a few players to upgrade. Antoine Winfield, work on his run support so he stays at a 91 overall. Ryan Jensen, up to an 89 overall. Kevin Portillo stays at a 78, but we work on his agile blocking. Tanner Muse, up to a 70 overall. And Vita Vea, up to a 97 overall. We've got an injury. Leonard Fournette is out for 2 weeks, but Cook is back. We had several practice squad players signed, but I'm not too worried about that. So we take on the 3-7 New Orleans Saints. The Saints are an 86 overall. They've been underperforming this season. We could put the dagger in their season. And we do 35-31 to go to 10-1. Bruce Johnson's going to get a boost. We're going to work on him as a power rusher. We get him up to a 77 overall. Bernie Meadows up to a 78. He's a star development. Ike Mukwanu up to an 86. And now we take on the 4-7 Denver Broncos. A home game for us. So we try to push it to 11-1. And we beat them 36-22. We check in once more on Ali Marpet. He's going to say he's back to feeling great, ready for the stretch run, out there at 100%. Playing against the top NFL offense. We're playing a very good Minnesota Vikings team. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka is up to an 87. Isaiah Wilson up to a 69. Nice. And Jamar Chase stays at a 95 as we work on his physical skills. Let's go. We got Leonard Fournette back for this game. We're going to make sure we've got the right player playing third down back. We do not. So let's get James Cook back in there. And let's take on the 10-2 Minnesota Vikings on the road, the biggest test of the season so far. And we beat them 24-17. We're going to be firmly in the first position in the wild card race. We got a 2-game lead on the Vikings for the top seed right now for the playoffs. As we got Larry Brewer going up to an 80 overall. Still hold on to that X factor. Akeem Hicks up to an 81 overall. And we host the 6-7 LA Rams. This should be a win for us. We'll see if we can pull it out. And we lost 34-28. a shocking loss to the LA Rams. Devin McCoy up to a 73. Ben Mason up to a 73 at fullback. Tristan Wirfs up to a 99 overall. The best tackle in the game. We take on the 7-7 New York Giants. This is a game that we ought to win. Last time I said that, we lost. And we lose again, 31-24. We got a breakout scenario. It is for Chris Godwin, who's looking for 4 touchdowns and 200 yards. Wish him the best of luck. That's a tall order for anybody. Treylon Burks continues to get better in the slot. He's up to an 81 overall. Carlton Davis is up to a 91 overall. And we take on the 10-5 Kansas City Chiefs at the Chiefs. This is a big game if we want to hold on to that 1 seed. And we go on the road and beat the Chiefs 35-10. Let's see if we got the breakout. No, we did not. That's to be expected, though. I don't think there's any scenario where Godwin's going to get 200 yards or 4 touchdowns. Paul Carr's getting a boost. He's up to a 79. Nicholas Killings up to a 79. Kevin Portillo up to a 79. Bernie Meadows up to an 80 overall. And James Cook stays at an 81 overall as we work on his receiving skills. We take on the 9-7 Eagles. We are currently slotted in at the 1 seed. The Eagles are slotted in at the 7 seed, so we can knock them out of the playoffs. This is essentially a playoff game for the Eagles. And we lost 27-19. And we hold on to the 1 seed, which is big. We get a first round bye as Keontae Barkley goes up to an 84 overall. Gets a +1 speed. He's now 94 speed safety. Leonard Fournette is down a bit in ratings. It's to an 86 overall. Bernie Meadows is up to an 81. He continues to improve, rapidly improve. Burke Curvin is up to a 73. And Devin White is up to a 96. Superstar X Factor. Let's take a look at our stats for the regular season. It was a good season for Rodgers. 4,400 yards, 27 touchdowns, 9 picks. Fournette averaged 4.1 yards per carry and 1,000 yards. That's the best season he's had so far with Tampa Bay. He is starting to regress pretty rapidly, though. It might be time to turn it over to Cook sooner rather than later. Receiving, big seasons for Godwin and Chase. Both went over 1,000 yards. Godwin, 2 touchdowns. Chase had 10. Bernie Meadows, our rookie tight end, had 792 yards and 6 TDs. Burks out of the slot had 600 yards and 4 touchdowns. Larry Brewer led the team in tackles with 125. Tryon Shoyinka had 8.5 sacks. 2 picks for White, 2 picks for Davis, 2 for Winfield, and 2 for Gilmore. 1 for Tryon Shoyinka. 1 for Carr, 1 for Brewer, 1 for Barkley, and 1 for Slay. Our kicker went 16 for 18. Ariza averaged 51 yards per punt. We had no kickoff returns and no punt returns for touchdown. We had the 7th overall offense and the 15th overall defense. So our defense regressed, but our offense progressed, I think, from bottom third of the league last year, maybe even worse, to all the way up to, what was it, 7th? So let's go ahead and advance to the divisional round where we'll take on the 11-6 San Francisco 49ers. Larry Brewer's going to get a nice boost. He's up to an 81 overall. And let's see if we can pull out the win against the 49ers and advance to the conference championship game. And we lost 21-13. Oh, that's a brutally disappointing end to the season. I did not see that coming. Oh, that's crushing. So, no Super Bowl for us in year 4. So through 4 seasons, we've made 1 Super Bowl. We lost in that Super Bowl. We made the playoffs 3 times. But they've all ended in disappointment. And it's going to be the Jaguars and the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. We've got to upgrade players. Bernie Meadows up to an 82. I think at this point, the only thing that we can do is try to draft like a superstar quarterback and build for the next decade plus with that quarterback. Is this trend of bringing in 1 or 2 year starters is just not working for us. We need to build something. So that's going to be our strategy going into year 5. Let's advance week and see who wins the Super Bowl. It is the Dallas Cowboys, 27-10. So we look at the 2024 year recap. Christian McCaffrey wins the MVP. Urban Meyer, Coach of the Year for the Jags. Christian McCaffrey, Offensive Player of the Year. Aaron Donald, Defensive Player of the Year. James Jordan, Rookie of the Year. Barry Smart, Defensive Rookie of the Year. So that does it for year 4 of the 20-year Buccaneers rebuild. I'll see you next time.